Today we're going to be talking to Lisa Morrow, the CEO of Birdytell. Lisa, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Miranda. How are you?
I'm doing really good, and I was just looking at your website, and I'm so excited to talk about what you guys are doing. It's like some of the cutest. I'm already picking out my friend's birthday present, to be honest.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah. So I'd love to just give our listeners some context on what Birdytell is.
So, Birdytell is an online gift shop, and we create curated, thoughtful, and personalized gifting experiences with goods made here in local Arizona.
That's amazing. I love that that's all local businesses, local Arizonans. Is it difficult to find people to have in your gift baskets?
So it really isn't now. When we first started, it was obviously a little bit more challenging just getting to know everybody in the ecosystem. But now we get, products and product makers send us messages almost daily. There's an amazing, huge product making community in Arizona, so it's a vibrant, thriving market for sure. So we're excited to see that here in town.
That's amazing. When did you guys start?
So we started doing our local gifts we piloted in 2016 for Mother's Day. So we were trying to create gifting experiences. We did 3 curated boxes, and for us, it being thoughtful and personalized was always and simple to give was always our main goal in Birdytell, as it is to this day. And for us, local products always fit that because, it's kind of like giving something from your hometown, like from where you're at. So we started with 3 curated boxes, and from that experience, we sold out rather quickly. We hand delivered all those gifts, and then what we learned from that experience is people really wanted to mix and match the items in the 3 curated boxes, and that's where we came up with our whole unique gift builder idea. So we had never seen anything like that or even thought that would be the direction, and then we just buckled down and worked on building that, and then launching a fully operational website in January of 2017.
Wow. And one of the things I was curious about, because it really looks like you have a plethora of options. I mean, there's something literally for everyone, but for local businesses being able to on demand provide all of those items, I mean, there has to be a lot of logistical management that goes into that.
Yes, so I have no retail experience, and so even more than retail, online e-commerce is very complicated, and always having provide all of the pieces that are in a gift box. A gifting company in general too is also very complicated to run. So there was a huge learning curve in trying to figure out how to create both a custom built website to support that, and then also how will we keep things stocked. These are things that are handmade. These are really unique items. So trying to figure out all of those systems has definitely taken time, and I think it's just a lot more complicated, like you said, than you can imagine. So if we would have known all of that, and I probably never would have started, but we were so determined. We were like, okay, next challenge, we're going to just take it on.
So what caused you to start the company?
So the company really started for me. I was working as a crisis counselor, and I was raised in a family of all entrepreneurs. So the type of I'm just a natural problem solver, and I love to create. I'm a creator. So I was working as a crisis counselor, and it's just this really odd moment in time where it started. It was December. My stepmom sent me a text message and said, "What does your husband and your sons want for Christmas?" And it was just astounding to me in that moment in time that there was no real easy way to gift thoughtfully. We could literally get anything online that we could dream of, but we just couldn't send something that wasn't generic or felt, just not personal at all. And I just thought, God, how could this be in this day and age? And I really just had this very clear voice in my head that said, you can create this place. And it was just so profound in my life. Like, it sounds like weird, but I literally sat down with a pad of paper and started sketching out what designs would look like, how we could solve that problem. So it was always the problem of, how do we make it simple to give something thoughtful to one another? And moving into a space of like gift cards and all of that is so impersonal. And we were really trading on the thoughtful piece for the simple piece. And so how could we marry those two things together? And I came home and told my husband, I'm going to create this like new way to gift. I'm obsessed with it. I'm doing it, and he was like, that's awesome. I think you should totally do that. And it's just been an obsession. Like, every day I wake up so fueled and passionate about creating, this space.
Yeah, and I love the name. I mean, it reminds me of the whole, like, a little birdie told me.
That's where it started. So the next morning, my husband, my sister-in-law, and I, she had spent the night, and my husband said, we need to come up with the name for this gifting company, that you're going to do. And we used gift in every configuration. And it was like, it's not about the gift though. It's about the experience, the connection. And I remember walking up the stairs and said, wish it could be something like special, like a little birdie told me I have a gift for you, or something like that. And then my husband took all those words and mixed them around and said Birdytell. And we were like, oh, that's it. And then we just like bought the domain, bought everything, never second guessed it after that.
Wow. I mean, it sounds like he's been so supportive every step of the way, and that had to have been invaluable, just huge.
It's incredibly invaluable because, as every business owner knows, it's a 24-hour obsession that you have to do to start. It occupies tons of your time, even when you get off the ground. It's very expensive. You're not making any money anytime soon. Like, it really is like having the supportive partner is everything in those moments. And he still comes and helps me pack large orders and helps out all the time. And I really could have never done it had it not been for him and how supportive he always was.
I love everything about that. I mean, having a support system, I mean, starting a startup really is like raising anything. I mean, it's starting out at infancy, and it's just growing and turning into this business that it's going to take time, effort, initiative. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be things that pop up, but to have someone to lean on every step of the way and just reassure you that you're following your calling, it's a beautiful thing.
It's super important. I can't imagine, of course it brings tension and there's always hard times, and starting a business is not something that's easy or for the faint of heart. But, I can't imagine how, especially if you're in a marriage, that you could do that without a full amount of support from somebody else. Because it's like our third baby. My boys are teenagers now, they come help out. It's just like, it's a family thing. It's a part of our family for sure.
Yeah. And that makes me think, I mean, what are holidays like in your home?
I always laugh now because I literally created this to solve like a holiday dilemma. And now that's our busiest month. I work nonstop every second of December. And the only day that it's like calm is the day before Christmas, because it's just too late. And then that week after is kind of a dead zone with gifting. But it's just, we just have to laugh because it's so unbelievably crazy around our house during the holidays. So it's easy. We've made it easier for everyone else, but not ourselves.
Well, I mean, beyond just gifts for people during seasonal items, I noticed that you have a corporate section of your gift giving, which that was one of my biggest barriers. I worked for a company called LifeLock for many, many years. And it was always a question of, how do we send something to our clients that's personal, but we don't have to put too much thought into how personal it is? And we always went with some type of gift basket or some type of box of cookies or a cheese platter. I mean, the most random things, but I love the corporate side of this. How has that been for you?
Thank you. Yeah, that's our main arm. So we are individual personalized gifts, but really the biggest part of our business is corporate gifts. Mm-hmm. And there's so much intentionality, like you were talking about LifeLock, of wanting to do something thoughtful that's not like a swag bag or something like that. So
Mhm.
you're really like the idea of corporate gifts moving from being a marketing thing to actually like we care about our relationship with you type of a gift. I feel like excited about that leap in like connection with people. So for us, it is inherently important for it to be simple. So that's the, like you were saying, like just I want to offload this task and have somebody else take care of it, but it looked like, we packed it all and did it all
Mhm.
ourselves. So that's, we take a lot of care into that. And so what you don't see a lot of on Birdytell on our social media, even on our website, is all of that we do. So we do a
Mhm.
lot of Bay Area startup companies. We bring Arizona products into places that maybe they haven't, been so easily shopped for before. We do, you know, we've done Plexus and hotels and just tons of Arizona businesses. And we're so grateful to be able to do that. But that's a whole different area that we curate completely, a lot of times different goods for
Mhm.
their needs. So we're really, what you see on our website are just some of the things we sell. They're the things that people love to give. And then we also have cataloged all of these other local products that fit the need of that company. So we kind of like match the corporation with, what local brands reflect them. So it's been, I love that area a lot. And I think it's such a important thing for especially like larger companies to think about like connecting with and their relationships and strengthening them through being thoughtful.
So how would that work? I mean, I remember literally calling up different shops and saying, "Hey, we're doing a golf thing for the Phoenix Open. Can you get this for us in 3 weeks?" I mean, is that usually how it goes down?
Yeah, so it's very similar to that. So we have people just email us, connect with us, and then we find out their needs and we create a proposal and send it to them. And then we just start like really making sure that gift is co-branded, however, they want it to be. We really hone it down until it's like the perfect gift. And then we just get to work and they just send us addresses, pay for it, and then all the rest is us. So then we're just getting all the goods, working with our local community, getting all of these things packed up and either hand delivered or shipped out. So it's still a personal connection that you're still, talking on the phone or emailing with, but we try to really simplify that. So you can even just do it by email if you wanted to.
Yeah. So, I mean, the vetting process has to be tricky too, making sure that when you're offering so and so's prickly pear candies, that they're going to follow through and they're going to deliver.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you get added to your gift baskets?
So we have certain vendors that we work with that we know in advance what lead times are with people, and if it's a really large order, we always check in first before we put it into a proposal. So then we don't, we want to minimize having to go back and go, well, we can't really do this candle, or ooh, we can't really, add that. So usually before anything goes into anything over, let's say 100, that they know and that they can meet the deadline. So there's a lot of back end work that goes into creating those large orders than the person that's buying them has to ever worry or think about, because before that was a Herculean task, right? Like, how could you do that? People want to support local, and then it's like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. So for us, it's just we just can, contact people, talk to people, and make sure it can be done, and then we just really stay on top of it, making sure we get all those pieces together so we can create the gift boxes. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me think that you literally go to farmers markets sometimes too, and you see someone and you're like, "Hey, I want to add, your soaps or your honey to this product." I mean, do conversations happen like that?
All the time. I am like endlessly inspired by just being out in the community and seeing things. There's many times I've walked right up to a booth and been like, I want to buy, X amount of these things, or we would love to work with you. So, and I love when people send us information about, hey, people that we work with already, and they're like, oh, you got to meet this person that makes these things. And so it's more, like it's just such a neat process, but I'm always looking for things that would be a good fit. I mean, just there's no linear path with that. It's just constantly combing through, tons of Instagram's a great place to look, but I like to even find places before they've even bubbled up there. Because at this point we have a pretty good idea of who our clients, like what kind of products our clients like. We're really very specific in like the products we pick.
And I also wonder too, I mean, is there a limit of the amount of orders that you would fill? I mean, like if someone said they wanted to do 5,000, or is there caps?
You know, if it can be done, like there isn't an order that I've turned away yet. I kind of love that challenge. Like, you know, when somebody gives that to me, now I couldn't do, 5,000 on Monday,
Yeah.
and we've certainly gotten crazy requests like that. But, we have done some pretty large numbers, and it's just about breaking those down into smaller tasks and then figuring out how to do it. But if I could purchase that many products from local makers and they can make them, I will figure out how to pack them, because it's such a big, like, huge check for people to get in the local community that it just like lights me up to call and say, hey, we just sold 200 of these, or we sold, I love that feeling. So we do what we can. We will make it work here for sure.
So what's your favorite basket? I mean, it could be on your website or one that you filled. I mean, what's been the best one so far, if you have a favorite?
So I can't say I have a favorite because I love everything, but I personally love things that, so you'll see this reflected. A lot of my own personal tastes are in everything. So I love things that feel like a luxury. So really beautiful, like scented candles, things that you wouldn't normally just go and buy maybe a $30 or $40 or $50 candle for yourself, but you get to like experience this beautiful scent in your home, and then it makes you feel like happier in your house. So it's really like those things that provide that kind of an experience where you really get to indulge. And that could be anything from a really nice olive oil from Queen Creek olive mill, where it's, maybe an orange kind of a flavoring to it, where it's not something you would normally buy, or prickly pear, where it's just really makes a salad sing, right? So it's things like that I think about when the person's using it. What will this create an experience for them where they get to like really feel indulged? And that's what you'll see throughout everything we have. So for me, I love to cook, so anything in the kitchen makes me super happy. So
That's nice. I mean, there has to be, certain items that people just get this feeling about. And, it's also good exposure for that candle maker or that olive oil company to be able to say, like, yes, this needs to be in my kitchen all the time. Where did this come from?
Yeah, so I love that idea of like local, not being like, oh, I'm going to pick up this thing at the market and just use it once. I'd love to see local products become part of your everyday, items in your home, like your soaps and it's about it not being like, oh, I'm being charitable. It's about, these are actually superior products. They're made by hand. People care a lot about the ingredients that go into them. They spend a lot of time learning whatever craft it is that they're doing. And it truly is superior than something you're just going to go buy off of a shelf somewhere. I believe that. And I think once people can have it in their home, then I want them to go, to that vendor and supply it and like, make that a regular experience for themselves or families. So for us, we always want people to have their brand on their items and to be promoting that. That's, we love doing the gifts, but we want them to be learning more about the people actually making this stuff.
Do you see any holiday specifically where there's an increase in people purchasing items?
So our biggest holiday is Mother's Day for sure. So Mother's Day is really a big one. Obviously Christmas, but moms get really, people really go all out for moms. So those are the highest like price point gifts that you go out. You just see like a lot of love for mom go in those gifts, which is really fun. Other ones, it's like you might think are, if you get too wrapped up into being too much holiday themed, we kind of learned that was not our market. You don't want to get like stuck with merchandise that's, a spooky ghost, something, and you have to like people are not really giving Halloween gifts, like it's just not happening. So we did a lot of that kind of stuff in the beginning, and we're like, oh, that's a mistake because maybe other people do it well, but for us, people were like, we're like, wait a second, why do we have Thanksgiving stuff? Like nobody's giving. And I think it's like people do like to bring a little something, but I think over focusing on holidays and not just like quality of goods can kind of put you in a weird spot where you get stuck with things. So do that a whole lot. But Mother's Day for sure, big one. Valentine's Day, people do a lot of teachers' gifts. So those kind of special things, new home gifts, we do that. So, actually, our number one probably lately, the last year has been baby gifts. So that's a really big one because people weren't able to be there for wedding or baby showers and all of that. So
that one has to be a really hard group for you to select gifts for because, I mean, if it's any products for baby products, sensitivity, sizing, if you guys do any type of, onesies or anything like that, what do you put in a baby basket?
So what we do is everything that we sell is really clean. So the products are very clean for babies. And we will not take anything with any kind of dye or any of that, especially for baby products. So we do have some care products for babies. They're just beautiful, nice products. But we've got like a cactus teether. We do some teething things. There's a really amazing company called Little Darlings that she creates books and is a graphic. I believe she's a graphic designer. She makes beautiful loveys and illustrates books and teethers. So we love her products, and we just keep it simple. Our onesies are 0 to 6 months. We just we're not going to give you a ton of selection there because then we're working into a space where you could be getting things that don't fit. So we really are focused right now on like a new baby type of a gift box. So we do a lot of books. We do onesie, just the one size. We just keep it really, we want when you give a gift that it's going to hit the mark every time. It's not going to be kitschy or too niche or not fit, that kind of thing. We want it to be like, it's timeless and just something awesome to receive. And then we really encourage and see a lot of, which we love, gifts for mom and dad in the baby gifts. So they'll add like coffee, which is really
that's funny.
and bath bombs, and you'll see, I put a little something in there for you, mom and dad, and I love that idea. That's really sweet to see. That happens more often than just the baby gift.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder though. You're adding these things, these perfectly curated baskets. I mean, what is the shipping process like? That has to be the hardest one, giving it and putting it in someone else's hands.
Oh my gosh. So our first year and a half, I only hand delivered because it was like shipping is such a nightmare. So so shipping, we've got it down now. It's, we have we have a warehouse in the air park, and we have pickups from our UPS that come every day. And so it's just, we just try to simplify that process as much as possible. We charge people only what the shipping is because we do ship a lot of gifts. We're able to get that cost down. We don't pad that at all. It's just straight pass on of cost. So, it's always a mad race with Amazon's like it ships for nothing. And the truth of the matter is that it costs all of us money to ship stuff. So we're really true. We don't mark up our gifts. There's not like a padded price. It's literally the box and then the items. It's not some kind of like design fee or something in there that's padded. We just are giving you, the straight charges. So we have to charge, but we don't really meet a lot of resistance there. It's more of like just getting that shipping system down, and it's always a game of improving that efficiency. So we just work a lot on how's the quickest way to get everything into a box and get it out. it's going to be a forever challenge, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's definitely the name of the game is how fast can you get something going?
Fast and efficient. That's all the shipping game is, and how low can you get those prices? And so it's just you're just constantly in touch with your carriers, and you're trying to work on prices, and you're trying to get it to be the things that you're packing and using the products to ship. Is this can this be recycled? It's just you're always weighing all of these options because the cheaper options obviously aren't good for the environment. Oops, sorry about that. So it's just an ongoing battle for sure. So.
Well, I'd love to know, some advice that you could have for someone who's maybe starting a business, or advice to maybe a local person on how they could even get involved and how they could get exposure with their product and a service like this.
So we have a collaborate with us page, so it's very easy to fill out. And then we do our best. So the main things we look for is that it's high quality item, that it's something that looks like it would marry well with the items on our website, and that it's got a kind of a clean, modern, just packaging and brand and all of that. So we love working with we have all kinds of needs. So we do have all different kinds of clients. So please feel free to always contact us on our collaborate with us page. And advice, the best advice I can really give anybody that's about to start a business is just see where you can contribute in something you feel really passionate about, because it's going to overtake your life. I mean, it isn't just a thing you can do for a little bit of time and then, it's going to bring you fame and fortune. It's just not really that game. So, I think like in your mind, thinking of the long game instead of, I think the thing about startups now is it's just like, feels like this short time investment and then you just move on to something else. But I'm sure from talking to so many different entrepreneurs that it really isn't that isn't really what it looks like for the vast majority. It's going to take a lot of your time and your energy. And so just like put all of that into something you're passionate about, like seeing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it just starts there, and then you figure everything else out. You don't have to have all the answers. You literally just get in there and do it. And then you will, you just take one thing at a time and you'll solve it. You'll work it out. I really, really believe that.
Yeah. One order at a time, one product at a time.
Yeah, that's
Eventually.
exactly how we started. We put the website up and just were so excited when any order came through. And now it's a matter of like figuring out systems and making things more efficient, so there's always stuff to solve, which is fun too. So
how can our listeners order your product? How can they get a hold of you?
So birdytell.com, everything is there. We ship gifts next day. You can order them and have a gift shipped out the next day. And we're always happy to help with corporate gifting, event gifts. You can email us at hello@birdytell.com, and we'll help you create awesome local gifts and personalize them perfect for your company. So we're pretty easy to reach anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. And like I said, I'm already browsing your website for my friend's birthday, and I've got another friend that just got engaged. So
awesome.
I already see some great things. And thank you so much.
Thanks, Miranda.